Hey everybody, how's y'all doing? My name is Derek. Today is April 23rd, 2019. Been a few weeks since I made a video, but we had a pretty major terror attack in the city of Colombo, Sri Lanka on Easter Sunday. So I figured now was as good of a time as any to continue this work and show you how the elites are attempting to manufacture a third world war between the religions, as has been predicted by people such as Albert Pike way back in the 1800s. So in this video, we're going to explore the language of Gematria. Gematria is the practice of coding numbers into words. The four base ciphers and the numeric methods behind them are shown on your screen here. We start with the alphabetic order, where each letter in the alphabetic order numbered relative to its position in the alphabet, 1 through 26. The reduction methods use the rules of numerology to reduce each double-digit number to a single digit. This language of Gematria is used in accordance with dates on the calendar, and it's what our mainstream media is using to craft these stories and these terror attacks that we see on a weekly basis. We're being told that this attack in Sri Lanka is a retaliation for the Christchurch mosque shootings. Now, my video on the Christchurch mosque shooting has been identified by YouTube as offensive, even though all I do is run the numerology on the event. At the time I made this video, I thought the shooting was totally real before seeing the video and realizing that much of it, if not all of it, was completely fabricated. This was definitely a CGI video, and the government of New Zealand has since made it illegal for their citizens to own this video. And why would they flag it as offensive when I'm just talking about numerology? Well, the truth is, I've gotten way too close to the source code that they're using. And as I discuss in all my work, I'm extremely consistent in this. The numbers of total solar eclipses and the dates on which they occur, as well as lunar eclipses, as was the case with the mosque shootings, Islam being a religion based around the moon. All of these events are in alignment with these eclipses, and this terrorist attack in Colombo, Sri Lanka was absolutely no exception. So let's dive in here and show you what I'm talking about. Now, earlier today, CNN published an article saying that the death toll in Sri Lanka has risen to 290. This number has since been updated. The Wikipedia page, for instance, now shows the death toll as 321, which was reported from a different source later in the day. And the first thing that stuck out to me when I saw this is how 321, when you write it out using the alphabetic order, this is the most basic cipher where A equals 1 and Z equals 26. 321 has a numeric value of 290, just like how CNN said 290 people had died just hours earlier. Now understand that 290 is a significant number in the eclipse sacrifice crucifixion code. Consider that ISIS, or ISIL, as they are commonly known now, has taken credit for this attack as a retaliation for the Christchurch mosque shootings. The targets in this attack were Christians. You may have also seen the Jewish cipher scrolling by at the beginning of the video. This is based in the ancient Latin alphabet. It's constructed similarly to Hebrew Gematria, Greek isopsephy. Is a very large number cipher. Well, in this method, again, this is called Jewish Gematria on my website, Christ has a numeric value of 290. According to 3 of the 4 Gospels, when Christ was crucified, darkness fell over the sky. Many historians believe this to be a solar eclipse. It's easy to deduce through the numerology that Christ was an eclipse sacrifice. Now, using the reverse alphabetic order, where Z is 1 and A is 26, the phrase eclipse sacrifice sums to 290. So what do you know? This attack, which targets Christians in Sri Lanka, has a death toll of 290, and then 321, which sums to 290. Again, I'm very consistent in this part of my work. Whenever these events occur in countries outside the U.S., we always look at the president and prime minister. We measure it from the date they took office and their birthdays, and we find significant alignments. We'll get to that in a second, but what's also significant is the Independence Day of the nation in which these attacks occur. Sri Lanka annually celebrates its Independence Day on the date February 4th. Well, if you measure from the date of these attacks to February 4th, 2020, we get exactly a span of 290 days. What makes this especially interesting, Sri Lanka, using the alphabetic order, has a numeric value of 85. Using the reverse alphabetic order, the name Christ equals 85. Now, in English ordinal, Christ equals 77. Well, if you measure from Sri Lanka's most recent Independence Day in 2019, you get a span of exactly 77 days. We'll look at the politicians in a second. But first, what you must understand is that these events are aligned with total solar eclipses. Please see my video, again, on the Christchurch shooting to see how this one was aligned with lunar eclipses. Again, Islam, a religion that puts the crescent moon on top of their mosques. Almost all of the Islamic nations have a crescent moon on their flag. Well, this being an attack on Christians, we see it's aligned with total solar eclipses. The most recent total solar eclipse to have occurred before these attacks was on August 21st, 2017, here in the United States. Measuring from that date to the date of the attacks in Sri Lanka is exactly a span of 609 days. Sri Lanka's official name can be pulled from Wikipedia. Basic information right here. The Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka. This nation has a numeric value of 609 in the reverse alphabetic order. And this attack occurred on Easter Sunday. Using the reverse reduction method, Easter Sunday equals 73. And this attack occurred a span of exactly 73 days before the next total solar eclipse, which occurs on July 2nd this year. But most significantly is that using the alphabetic order, the word eclipse equals 69, like how this attack was 609 days after the most recent total eclipse. The word sacrifice equals 73. This attack was 73 days before the next total solar eclipse. And again, eclipse sacrifice sums to 290, which is what we were told was the death toll prior to it being risen to 321, which sums to 290. Next, we'll look at the politicians. Sri Lanka has both a president and a prime minister. First, we take the Gematria of the president, who I want to point out has matching Gematria, 202 in the alphabetic order. This is the same as total solar eclipse, 202. Now, in perhaps our other most significant cipher, Jewish Gematria, total solar eclipse equals 704. The prime minister of Sri Lanka was born on March 24th, 1949. Meaning that on the date of the attacks, he was exactly 70 years and 4 weeks old. 704, just like total solar eclipse. In numerology, you can drop this 0, which gives us a 74. The name Jesus equals 74, just like cross, just like Messiah. The story comes from the gospel. Also, in reverse reduction, Jesus Christ even equals 74 as well. Now, one more thing I want to point out. For quite some time, a lot of us have been discussing how this year the dates August 10th and August 11th are especially significant, as this is the date of Tisha B'Av, I believe, this year. And we've been talking about this as the date of a potential big terror attack against Muslims. Well, consider that August 11th, or 8/11, is the 223rd day of the year. And check out the numerology of the president, whose name we looked at earlier. He was born on September 3rd, 1951. This means he's currently 811 months old. A lot like the date 8/11. He and his prime minister both assumed office on January 9th, 2015. And rather intriguingly, this was 223 weeks ago. And again, 8/11, the 223rd day of the year. In regards to the number 223, this attack fell on Easter, which sums to 223 using prime numbers, which is based on the alphabetic order, but using only numbers divisible by 1 and itself. Also interesting that the word terror sums to 94, 40, and 68. Easter sums to 94, 40, and 68 as well. So once again, we see a clear, plain as day riddle. Astronomy, total solar eclipses, lunar eclipses being used to align these terror attacks with dates on the calendar. And once again, essentially manufacturing a third world war. Something else that sticks out about the date, August 11th, this date also leaves 142 days in the year. The word terrorist equals 142 in the alphabetic order. Eclipse sacrifice, also 142. Also worth pointing out, eclipse sacrifice equals 79. And when we look at the details on Colombo, we find that Colombo sits on the 79th meridian. And this is interesting too. 6 plus 79 is 85. It's the capital of Sri Lanka, which sums to 85. This president, whose name I'm not going to attempt to pronounce, using the alphabetic order, his name equals 439. Why is this important? 439 is the 85th prime number. How perfect is this for a man who is now the president of Sri Lanka, which sums to 85 in the same basic ordinal cipher? All of these politicians being placed in office by the numbers. These elections are all rigged. All these politicians are selected, not elected. And check out how this guy's name also sums to 281. That happens to be the Jewish value of Easter, the date on which these attacks occurred. Furthermore, his name sums to 187. Ancient accepted Scottish rite of Freemasonry has that 187 value. Very significant number, the number of chapters in the Hebrew Torah. Society of Jesus also equals 187. These are essentially the secret societies that are running the world and bringing about this religious war among the lower classes. Anything to keep the eyes off of the top, where the elites are conducting these rituals by the numbers on a daily basis. So that's pretty much all I have on this. I haven't done a ton of research, but what more do you really need to see? This code proves itself over and over and over again. So hopefully more people pick up on this, and people who are smarter than I can maybe work on predicting where exactly these events occur. We're getting pretty good at predicting these dates. We know when terror attacks are going to occur for the most part. It's just a matter of figuring out where. So thanks to everybody who jumped in and contributed to the live stream. As far as my channel and the reduction in posts, as you may have noticed, I've done a lot fewer posts recently. In fact, this is only my second post since the 7th of April, and my first video since that same date. I'll probably do a stream in the coming weeks to talk about why I'm kind of slowing down on this work and what my next plans are. So sit back and hold tight for that. But I guess don't hold your breath. All right, everybody. Thanks again for joining in. Peace, love, and God bless. Again, please like, share, and subscribe, as YouTube clearly has no interest in sharing my work. They consider me a conspiracy theorist who's insane, when in reality we've simply begun to crack the code that the elites are using. All right, everyone. Adios.